damn, that's pretty good.
That is a lot better than me.
I wasn't expecting that, but that was good.
I also was not expecting that. She even had the point and everything.
Bring the energy.
That's it. Bring the energy.
Oh,
What's up?
man.
Okay. Welcome back to the Fresh Goods podcast. It's good to have you here with us, listening in, watching us, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today we have a really... Oh, wait, hold on. My name is Jairo. My name is Jairo. If you're here for the first time, that's my name. I'm next to co-host Nick.
So, how's it going?
And we have Ethan behind the camera, which you can't hear his voice, but he says hello. And today we have a special guest, Trixie.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, all right. Yeah, well...
Man, she got the energy, bro.
She's got more energy than me right now. I'm feeding off of you, Trixie, honestly. Yeah, so, how do we know Trixie? Okay, so we've known each other since primary school, right? And then Nick, you've known Trixie since high school.
Yeah, because, I wasn't here in primary school.
True. So, we go pretty way back. So, I would say we're good friends, yes?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah. And no, it's kind of crazy seeing that how we were from, like, way back until now. And it's like, it's kind of cool that we've, stayed connected. I think that's really cool. But, why am I trying to introduce you? Well, you can introduce yourself. So, Trixie, take it away.
Okay. Hey, I'm Trixie. And we've been pretty good friends back in the day when we did not dress very well, but...
Okay, very specific.
Why you think you dress well?
No.
Exactly.
Fair enough, dang.
So in the same year group as the boys and grew up in school and church together as well. I think for me... I work for an app company and we help people with mental health disabilities. So really passionate about that, about mental health and just well-being as well. Have a big heart for women and seeing them walk in their purpose, seeing them know who they truly are as well. And I think I really love community and how I can bring people together, inclusivity as well. So I think just having a big heart for people is what I always aim for.
No, that's cool. With empowering women and stuff, don't you have your own? What's it called?
It's called Women of Worth.
Okay, so from what you told us earlier, it's kind of like a connect group, but you guys come together as women and like empower each other, right? Or
so pretty much I think if you think of like women, we love to come together and talk about different things as well. Yep. And I think coming out of COVID, just wanted a way that it was just like such a great time and an opportunity to use our time as well to build community, to build our faith. We are Christian, but we had a lot of people that weren't Christian as well. So how could we talk about like hot topics that we cared about? How could we encourage each other in the things that we want to pursue, in the things that we were going through that maybe we couldn't talk about with other people? And so it started populating in different parts of Australia, and as well right now we do different like small events where we can just really build friendship, really.
That's cool.
So it's just pretty raw and natural.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I was also going to ask, so then, like, what do you do in your free time now? What does Trixie like to do now?
Does Trixie have any free time?
Because as you can see...
free time is limited.
Trixie should have free time if she cares about well-being.
Yeah, oh, there you go. About your mental health as well, to relax. Like... What do you do? Because we all changed a lot. As you mentioned, our fashion has changed a lot as well. What do you do right now to just relax and stuff?
Well, first and foremost, what I need is my Google Calendar because...
Oh, okay.
Because that's how I think I space out my time. So besides work, I think like a leisure thing on the weekend is going for hikes.
Okay.
Like checking out markets and things, like doing outdoorsy things since I'm always working like in front of a computer.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I love watching TV.
Yeah, that's great.
It's so good. And hanging out with friends, the generic stuff. I think I spend a lot of time with like my at church connect group. But I think just building relationships and doing fun things, going out to eat, and I like writing music as well.
Okay, that's cool. Do you have any like quirky hobbies or like things that people don't normally do, but you kind of like the only one that does it kind of thing? like let's just like I'll give you an example. Like for example, Nick used to play floorball, right? So that was his thing. What's your thing if you have one? Or closest thing to it. I mean, you did say songwriting. We could say that, but do you have like anything that we might not expect? Just you might not have anything that you don't have to come up with an answer. It's not a test, but I'm just curious. I just want to know.
I think maybe touching on songwriting, like I love journaling and everything, but I tend to walk out of conversations and write down what people have said to me, and
cool.
I turn it into songs.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you ever say anything mean to Trixie in a song.
Oh yeah, it's probably like, Nick, why you do this?
We're gonna be careful what we say today.
Yeah.
It's gonna be recorded down. Yeah, it's just stamped in memory. Okay, that's sick. That
is very interesting, like that you take things from what like people kind of say. Like to you, or things that obviously stood out, right? That stuck in your mind, and then you use that to like kind of write songs. Because I mean, like different musicians, different people, they get different like kind of like inspiration from different things. Yeah. But it's just cool to see that for you, you just use words. So if we ever said anything mean to you, I'm sorry. Please don't make that into a song.
Let's do push into that a little bit more. You write songs about conversations and stuff that you have with people. So are these like specific conversations or like anything?
Could be anything. I
Really,
think if
like
it stands out to me, I'll write it down.
Really?
And yeah, like if I'm driving, I'm kind of like, oh gosh, because I can't write it down. So I have to like replay it in my mind so I can remember to write it down. But it's something that's meaningful or like symbolic. But I think like you saying something mean to me, I think there's a lot of great songs that come out of hurt.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
Whoa.
I mean,
what is that girl that became really famous the last 2 years from all the hurt songs?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. She's like the new Drake, but for pop.
wow.
Yeah.
I
Look at
know.
that.
It's crazy. Like she's actually so famous now. It's kind of nuts. Do you know? No,
That's the first time I heard that name.
No, you definitely would know the song,
driver's
bro.
license.
No,
Yeah,
you definitely heard it.
I spent a lot of time in hip hop, man. That's all I listen to.
If you're on TikTok, you definitely have like someone probably danced to it or done.
Okay, what's the song? I mean, like, what's the chorus? Like, what does it sound like?
I have no idea.
Take it away, Nick.
I actually don't know. I just know her and her songs, and
No, like, what's a lyric that's like?
I actually don't remember.
Okay,
that's how I found out about her, like through TikTok. And then I was like, who is this person? And then when I searched her up, I was like, she's really famous.
Damn. Okay.
Surely
It's the one that's like, you said forever and now I drive alone down the street. Past your street. Something like that. Do you not know? It's okay.
Yeah, never mind. We will move on from that. Anyways.
Yeah, what we're going to be talking about today is something that we touched on earlier before, but I think now that we're in a different place, a different season altogether, I think it'd be interesting for us to talk about our purpose and meaning and our passions, I guess, and like how we got to where we were today, and that kind of stuff. So I think everyone here has a pretty interesting story to share. So
yeah, well, I guess the biggest thing, right? Sorry to cut you off.
How dare you? I'm gonna write a song about that.
I just want to. I just thought I had to say it before I forget about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was just like leading on to what you were saying about the topic and stuff. It's more so about, did you think, like, if you looked back when you were in high school or anything, where you are now is where you thought you would end up?
That's a good one, bro.
Or is that totally just whoop?
Great question.
I like that.
The other way.
Let's go with that. I think that'll make it easier.
Just to start it off a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's why we're a team.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to work on this cutting off thing.
No, bro,
I realized I did that to my like girlfriend a lot, and then
okay, whoa,
then
let's
she was
keep that
like,
off camera.
No, but it's just a small thing.
Yeah, okay,
but then
alright,
I realized I actually do that because when I get an idea, it's like
You have to.
I have to say it. No, I'm just gonna forget it.
Yeah.
But I realized I just gotta learn how to remember my ideas, so that
Yeah,
when people finish, then I can speak.
Respect, man.
But yeah,
respect.
there you go.
That's cool. That's
Work
cool.
in progress.
No, I love it, man. That's good.
But anyways, yeah. I
But
guess
yeah.
for the question, Trixie,
Yeah, Trixie.
you know, since
You
you're
want
the
me to
guest.
Oh yeah,
Might as
because
well
you're the
go.
guest.
Okay. So just reiterating your question, where I am now, is that where I thought I'd be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it close or far?
Oh no, tell us first where you thought you would be.
Okay.
Yeah, and then.
And what age am I?
What age are you
I mean,
right now?
I know that girls like kind of start dreaming a little earlier in life, like primary school even.
Yeah,
But
pretty much.
But I guess just like end of high school, right? Maybe.
Or like year 12, year 11.
Yeah. I think I always wanted to work in non-for-profit. That was a big heart of mine. And in some sort of like business way, I wanted to be engaged. I think,
Okay,
or like
gonna
get married, was a big one, and I wanted to like be in music in some sort of way and be like speaking as well. But I think with that question, it's funny because looking back maybe 2 years ago, my life did not look like that, like what I envisioned, and it was hard when you have to face reality from your dream, right? And I think I'll touch on it when we come to purpose. And yeah, my life did not look like what I dreamt, and it was saddening, but I think I really found a way to trust God and to put in these action steps, not to like pursue this big dream, but how I can just steward what I had now. And on that, I think I am living in my dream now, working in mental health. It's associated with a non-for-profit. Not engaged, but that's cool.
Yeah. Engaged with what you do. That's what.
Hey, that was good. Yeah, singing, speaking, like on this podcast, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I think just being happy in life and being content and joyful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The best outcome, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy how that works, isn't it? Yeah, that's awesome. And what about you, Nick?
Well, I think for me, I'm like totally off what I thought I would be, because I thought that like straight out of uni, work, stable, like planned everything right. So then like my dream car, I know a lot of people go, why this car? It's super basic and stuff, but since I was a little kid, I always wanted it. It's like first car that I would buy for my, like from my own cash and everything, would be like a Mustang. I already have like a property, thinking about a second one, girlfriend. Not marriage though. Weirdly enough, I actually didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I actually thought about it where I would actually be okay not getting married, or like it wouldn't make me sad if I didn't get married. Maybe in certain moments, but I'm actually if I didn't. But then now I guess I'm dating someone, so then that's not too bad.
It's not too bad. It's all right.
It should be amazing, man. Yeah. You want to re-record that part?
Yeah, let's bring it back a bit.
It's great. But then, like stable job, just working, doing best I can, like being comfortable. Like I can see where I'm heading in my like years to come.
Yeah.
But then where I'm at now is totally opposite, right? Like. Just have this burning desire to like do ministry for church and things like that. So going back to study, helping out. I mean, even that has changed completely, because the church that all of us was previously in, I thought it was gonna be there forever. Yeah, was there from all the way like.
Yeah, did right.
Yeah, was there from like year 8, led there for like 6 years, and then I thought it would just keep going, right? But I guess things change. No control of it all. And then now I'm here where in this new church, but it's like so different. The struggle is so different. The kind of work, you would think that like we've already gone past all of that grind in our previous like church, but we're doing all of it again, and it's kind of like, what's the purpose of it? Like why? And yeah, like now I'm working Samsung, like just having a good time, like just enjoying, like really enjoying what I do. And working, even though it's not what I thought I was before, and I'm so like behind on my plans in terms of money and career and all of this stuff, and just leaning on pretty much day by day and seeing what happens next, you know. So to answer my question, like, I'm like so like the other side, of what I thought I'd be. That's it. What about you, Jar?
Yeah, pretty similar to but I can relate to both. Like, I thought I would be like in a committed relationship by now. My goal was to get married around like 27, 28. I'm 27 next year, so not really there. Not really there.
Sorry, man. You said 20. No, you said 27, 28. All right.
2 years, like 28. We can still clutch this, But yeah, no. I think for me, when I was in high school, I didn't really think about. My problem was that I never really planned ahead too far. And that still is a problem for me today. But yeah, I just thought that I would be stable. I think whatever I would be doing would be all right, like I didn't think as far as like going onto my second property or like having a Mustang and stuff.
Yeah.
But just comfortable. I thought more on the family aspect of things, like just whatever that pays the bills and like
Yeah.
supports the family. I think that's kind of what I was looking at.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be like doing tradie work or something, to be honest with you.
Will you ever do bricklaying?
The money's good, but I don't know. Honestly,
The
I don't know.
physical stuff, the
Because,
physical side of it is pretty
yeah,
intense.
I think for me, it's hard to be attached to something that I'm not passionate about. Like if I know it sounds very like Gen Z or like whatever, but I know that it pays well. Pays well, but I just can't do that. Like if I, like I can't wake up in the morning or like in those hours to do all that. Like I want to make sure that I want to wake up with whatever I'm doing and like be excited to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so still searching what that is, but I mean like I'm a chaplain now. I'm a school chaplain. I do like hanging around with kids and getting to know them because it's so interesting. So it's very cool how like what I was interested in led me to where I am now, which is like chaplaincy, which I didn't ever think that would be something I would be doing in high school. And then when I started chaplaincy, I'm like, this is great, but this isn't it for me yet. I feel like this is just a stepping stone for me. So I'm still working out the kicks on my end. But yeah, to answer the question, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
It's kind of crazy, right? Like, we always think that, like, oh, our life's going to head this way, and there's, like, no other way.
Yeah.
Like, you can't imagine it, and you'll be like, if it's not this, I won't be happy.
Yeah.
But then we actually go through it now, it's like, damn, it's actually kind of alright. We change so much.
Yep.
Like, so much can happen within a year that, like, your whole life could totally change and flip where, like, you would never imagine it. So then I was like, damn, like, because so much can change and things move so fast, and for us now, I feel like the older we get, the faster time goes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm getting older faster, But then when we were in kids in high school, I'm like, man, this takes forever, bro.
So
like
slow.
Like, when I want to hit 18 so I
Yeah.
can like drink, or I want to hit older so I can like be in uni, but it just felt
adult
like
life.
so long. Now it's like, bro, I need to slow down. I'm going too old, too fast. Like, I keep thinking about me hitting 30,
Right.
and it freaks me out.
Hey man, 30 is when we hit our prime.
Really? I heard 30s where it hits downhill, bro.
No, 30 is a prime age.
Huh.
Yeah, because like 20s is like it's like people think that's where you need to be established, but it's actually the time in which. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. It's like, oh, if you're 21, watch this video. Like, if you're in your 20s, watch this video, right? And they've all been saying stuff like, 20s is a time where you're still searching. You're still finding what your thing is. This is just the age of which you have more accessibility to things to try out. You know what I mean? Because as a teenager, you're so limited, right?
Yeah.
But in your 20s, you have more leeway to try different things, and then 30s when you pick something and you stick with it.
Yeah.
It's like an MMORPG, right? Okay, this is a weird analogy, right? But I'm playing this game where you have to pick your weapons, right? And you level your weapons as you go. So it's kind of like, in the first beginning stage, like level 10, you're like still, playing around with different weapons and whatnot. But when you get to level 15, you gotta start getting a little bit serious, because like these weapons that you start leveling, that you're investing in, are gonna go into your later levels, because if you don't have the time to go back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the same way, when your 20s is that time when you get to play around with different weapons, right? When you hit 30, that's when you start really like investing to the one or two things. Because like we're still kind of searching. Hey, like I feel, when I was 21, I thought that by 26 I would be like, oh, I know what I'm doing. But I'm 26 now, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it's I think 30 is a good age. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but kind of not, because you're getting older, But like at the same time, I think life gets a bit more interesting when you kind of what's going on.
Yeah. So then, Trixie, will you say that you kind of know what you're doing now, or are you like Jara, where you kind of still kind of figuring it out?
I think like, if I had to say right now, I'd be like, yeah, I want to be in this for a while. But just looking at my life a year ago, like I only started this role a year ago. I was doing missionary work. My life was different. I was like full on ministry. So missionary work looks like, going to other countries, like spreading the gospel and things, and doing music. I was like, okay, if this is where I'm meant to be, then so be it. But then felt to leave and pursue this, which was really amazing, because I think if you talked to me a year ago, I'd be like, nope, this is not where I thought I'd be. But I think it was the like little steps and stewarding what I had in that moment that's led me into like my bigger dreams and where I thought I'd be. So I'd say I really want to be in this space, but if it changes, I'll let it change because you never know till you step into it, I think.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is really cool. So then, I guess like leaning into it a little bit more, what you said about how like, you know, you like doing things that you're passionate about and you really struggle when you, I guess, if you're not passionate about things. Like, do you think that is a choice now that we should, like, anyone that is younger, like going out of uni or going out of high school and stuff, like, it's actually something where you can actually consider about doing now in your life? Or should you just, or is it okay to also just play it safe and go for the traditional, like, jobs and things like that? Because it's safer. Where our passion sometimes, it can be really hard, where you may not ever get to, like, achieve it. You know, because, yeah, like, I guess for me, the reason why I bring it up is because I was thinking about just being brought up in, like, an Asian family and a lot of things. And we would all know, right? Like, the jokes, the stereotypes is always about, like, Asians, you know, doctors, lawyers, blah, blah, blah. But that's because, like, we know that when you get there, those jobs, it's safe. Financially, you're going to be good. Everything is going to be stable. There's always going to be jobs for you, things like that. But then when you tell, like, an Asian family, right, like, pursue your passions, that's like, whoop, like, out of the window. You know, like, we're like youth leaders and stuff now. We see it now in the youth that we lead now as well, right? Parents tell them, you need to be a doctor, you need to be this, if not, like, and then the kids are like, oh, I have to grind for this. But then you see in their faces where they're kind of like, I don't want to do this. So then what do you reckon now? Like, do you reckon chasing something you're passionate about is actually a valid thing now?
Do you want to go first?
You're the guest. We want to hear more from you.
Okay. Is chasing a valid thing now? I think both are valid. Okay, depends on the person. I think in my life, I always really wanted the linear thing. I just wanted to be in business, boom, 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 hit not CEO, manager, then CEO or whatever. But that's just not the way my life turned out. It was really messy. I was trying to chase a dream that maybe I wanted, and then one day it changed. One day it changed. But I think it's valid to change your passions, but passion fades, I think. So I think if you want to pursue something, like, be committed to it, I think that's the word, than like chasing a passion. Because like, for me, it depends on the person, but for me, I just never wanted to live with regret that I never tried. You know, and I think it's mostly the failures that get you to the place that you want to be, because you learn from it. So I think it's valid to chase your passions, but if you're just gonna, like, keep flouncing around, then, like, how do you expect a big return?
That's true. That's true. You still have to put in some sort of, like, a fair amount of effort into something, or, like, you know, rather than just, like, you know, always. Like you said,
give it your best shot.
Yeah. You can't just muck around.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What about you, Jar?
Yeah, I think both are valid, but I lean more towards pursuing what you feel passionate about, or meaning that gives your life meaning and purpose, you know, because I think that's what lasts at the end of the day. Because if you're chasing money, like, you know, you will get rich and you will have that house and live comfortably and all that, but later down the line, all you got is money, right? And I mean, like, this sounds cliche, but everybody says it, right? You know, you make it to the top, what can you get? More money. And then, like people that you know, don't get as much money as they do, and doing, like, a very, like, you know, let's say missionary work, right, can live just as content lives. So, and that's something that they feel purpose in. It gives them purpose and meaning to their lives, helping other people, right? So I feel on my end, I lean towards that end. Like, you know, you may not live a very luxurious life, but at least it's a life full of meaning and purpose. So I think I would lean towards pursue what you want to try to do. So.
No, that is really interesting, right? Because I guess sometimes I remember watching this random video where they were saying, like, if you chase your passion and you don't know what it's gonna do, you can work super hard. Like, we know people that work super hard and still don't really make it, right? And, like, I remember the person that was arguing that topic, or they were just talking about it, and they were saying, like, isn't it a little bit selfish if, let's say, you had people relying on you, like, because for us, we're single or, like, dating, so we're not, like, close to that engagement or any of that stuff yet. But then it's like, what if you're someone that has people under you that are depending on you and relying on you? isn't it selfish for you to kind of choose your passions when there is no clear path, where if you stick to the traditional and it's sustainable and it's consistent, it's better because you're not just thinking about yourself anymore. So then do you think that would change? Or like when we say chase your passions, it's like when you're starting off only, and not like, you know, when you have people under you and people to rely on you for. Any thoughts?
That is such a good question.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you're totally right. Like, it's easy for us to be in this mindset when we're in our mid-20s, and not having responsibility. I think there's a time and place to be responsible, though. Like, you've chosen to commit to your family, to commit to looking after your wife, your children, and all that. But I don't think it should be an age restriction where you hit 30, it's like, too bad, you know, you made this decision.
I was just like really thinking about that question, because I guess that's something I need to think about. Like, am I going to be in Apple forever? Like, am I going to move into ministry? Am I going to doing all these things? Because let's say if I do get married to like my current girlfriend, things like that, that's actually something I need to think about. Yeah. Unless the house husband dream comes true, right? But I think when they were talking about that question, for myself, when I was thinking about it, I think like what you said, it's not an age restriction thing where people with families, they can still pursue their passions because it's their life at the end of the day as well.
Yep.
But I guess the balance in between both of that would be they need that stable income first, or like at least have that backup there, and then while they chase their passions, to build it into something consistent enough to then I guess do that entirely. Because I do think that for myself at least, is that if you have people under you, then you can't just think about yourself anymore. Like, your focus changes and your family becomes a priority, regardless of whether you want to chase your passions or not. Some people might disagree, some people might agree, but that's just my 2 cents about it. Yeah, what about you, Joe?
Yeah, I think like with the whole having people under you, like you're talking about a household, right? Like you're talking about wife, children kind of thing. I just feel like that's a conversation that should have happened way early in the relationship anyways. You know, like if you could see that that you're really passionate about this thing, like when you talk about it and try to find a consensus or like a compromise.
But what if it's something like what Trixie said earlier, right? About a year ago, she was doing something
existential
else completely
crisis,
different,
and then like,
okay, not saying what you had was crisis, but it's like, but it's more so about.
No,
like,
I'm just saying. No, like,
I'm missing.
We're talking about like when you're married and you like hit 50, like existential crisis.
Oh yeah, that. Or sometimes it could be a new passion that you just never thought you had till you know you experienced it, right? That's not something that you can really prepare for, or it's like how you grew up, like, you know, and as Asian family, sometimes it's like that's all they grew up knowing, that whatever their passion is not something liable, it's not even an option, it's more so what they want to do as a hobby, right? So then after they grow up over time, they will realize, oh crap, I actually don't want to live my life doing something that I hate, but I want to chase my passion.
Yeah, right. I guess like any person would be like, like, you know, if you're super selfish, then like obviously like you're gonna pick the ladder and like, you know, things are gonna go wrong, right? But I think that, you know, anyone, or how I would approach it is that, you know, is that I would still pursue my passion, but it wouldn't be a full-time thing. You know, I would still try to be working a job that pays the bills on the side, you know, like, or like it's my main thing, and work my passion on the side, just because my priority is not myself anymore. It's like another person, you know, as well, another few people in my household. I gotta think about them first before I can think about my own thing, right? But I don't think you should give it up. I think like, you know, that could lead on to something else later on. It
was just a side question.
I mean, I'll give you an example, right? I was watching Tony Robbins, right? I think Robbins. He's like a motivational speaker, right? And he was talking, he was like doing a seminar, and like this one guy, like really quickly, right? He was taking questions, and this guy said, "It was like, oh, my marriage is not very good because my wife doesn't want me to play in the band, blah 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 blah." So it kind of sounds very similar to what your question is, right? So long story short, you know, Tony told the guys, like, you know, she's like, she feels like, you know, to the husband, like, it seems like the wife is being like, you know, very bossy and not letting him do what he wants to do, but all she wants is to spend more time with him, and she wants him to support her as well, right? But he wasn't there for that because he was too busy doing his own thing, playing in the band. But what happened was he compromised. You know, he only, instead of playing full time in the band, he was like part time casual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
that's the way to go about it. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, because leading back to our original question when I asked you guys about like the whole passion or just stability thing, like for myself it's really interesting, right? Because I had all these plans about what I was gonna do, corporate, you know, like just a stable, normal income, and then other stuff will come around that. But then now where I find myself like being in like, oh, ministry is what I want to do, this podcast stuff is kind of fun, like all these kind of things. But at the end of the day, when I really think about it, where I struggle at personally for me is like money. The end of the day, if we don't got money, you can't do anything these days.
Yeah.
You know, not like someone's gonna like give you food on the streets. You know, like every single day. And it's like you need money in order to do things.
Yeah.
So it sounds really bad, but in my head, I always used to think that the only way I'll be able to fully help people, be there for people, is when I hit a point in my life where I'm actually stable enough and well off enough that I don't have to worry about that before I can really be there for people fully. Because, and I think that's where my balance is right now, where I'm, kind of doing what I want to do in terms of chasing what I'm passionate about. But then I find myself thinking a lot about like money, you know, not because I want to get more, but it's just my worry. Like,
I get that
what
too.
if I don't have enough? What if I don't have this? What if I don't have that? And it kind of messes me up where I find myself becoming more selfish, you know, because I'm like being super stingy and careful about what I spend, who I spend on, and things like that. Because in my head, I'm always like, this world that we live in right now runs on money. And without money, you can't do anything, right? So then it's like, how do I strike that balance? So then I always get moments where I think, oh, maybe I should go back to a stable job, because at least that way I would have enough where I'll be able to look after myself so that I can start looking after people.
No worries.
But then sometimes I'm like, man, when I was earning the money in like in my previous job and things like that, 9 to 5 in the office just killed me. Like it was good money, good people. Not saying that the culture was bad, but it's just in terms of like what you mentioned a little bit about purpose and stuff in my life. I was just like, I can't do this every single week for like even a year. Like it really like cut me. So now the fact that I've moved to my new job and I like, even though it's not full time, I like love it. But then because the pay gap is so big between the two, I find myself worrying like completely, and I'm stuck. You know. So yeah, that's just where I'm at the moment. Like just thinking, how do I find that balance, or like how do I know, you know, like I should stop chasing my passions and just go back to stability a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Trixie, since you're the guest.
Trixie has her own house, by the way.
Oh.
Flex. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So she's got no worries.
Why do you bring that up? That was so random.
Yeah, I know, that was random.
I'm sorry, I don't know why as well.
I know, and that was a whole process as well with the house, and it's not so clear and cut. But I don't know. I'm not really gonna touch on the money thing. Yeah, money's a worry. I still worry about it, and we're making money. You know, I feel like we're always gonna be worried about something when we focus on it. But I think I don't know. Just like what I was thinking about with you saying, like money. Not money's your passion, but like pursuing this passion, pursuing this dream. I think we can start to really like idealize or like segregate a passion and a dream from like our current life. And I think in life, we should live like an integrated life, you know, where family's incorporated, where our dreams are incorporated, where what we have now is incorporated.
Yeah, right.
And I think I was listening to this podcast or something, but we're always, especially our generation, I feel, especially me, I ran across to Canada when I was 21 to try and find my purpose. Honestly, I've been there, I've done that. I've done the typical thing, and I came back and I didn't find it. We're trying to find this purpose that it puts us in a state of paralysis, right?
Oh man, that is deep and big words.
Deep and big words, yes. But think about it. We're just like, where do I go? Like, what do I do? But what about everything that's right in front of you? What about the girlfriend that's in front of you? What about your friends and family that's in front of you? Are you going to stinge out of them? You're honestly going to stinge out of them in the future if you can't look after that little thing right now. Sorry, I'm full on.
No, this is good. Keep it going.
Oh,
Keep it going. We need to hear this. We need to hear this.
And that's why I really believe everyone has purpose, and I think, and there's a potential for you to live up to as well that could, you could die not living up to your potential, right? But I hope I live up to my purpose.
Amen. Wow.
And I think that's the amazing thing. There's always more.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think just see what's around you, and you will get there. Like when you just take a step back and be like, oh wow, I'm here. It doesn't take you like climbing. But there is hard work.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
awesome. That's good. Yeah.
I felt the fire.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy. Yeah, anything to add from that, Joe?
No, I just wanted to touch on the point you said about stinging out on the people around you, right? Is that like kind of you saying as well, like don't take those people around you for granted? Mm-hmm. See, that's so relevant to me because that's something that occurred to me the other day when like we went out for celebrate my birthday. Right? Yeah. Anyways, I just thought about it when I was like sitting there. I was like, man, like what's the next thing in my life right now? What am I thinking about? I'm like, man, I can't take these people around me for granted. Yeah. Yeah. So like. Yeah, it's like because I struggled the same way with you, Nick. Like how you talk about like I gotta be like careful with who I spend my money on, like where I spend my money, what I invest in, those kind of things, right? Why are you smiling, Ethan? Why are you smiling? Yeah, but yeah.
I'm so sorry if you had a car behind.
Yeah, but
hopefully you won't.
Anyways,
Joe.
don't break my flow. Anyways, yeah.
Ethan, man.
Yeah, so like I understand what you're saying, but then like what Trixie said, like it was a counter thought that I had is that I can't take these people for granted. I gotta treat them well. And like if I can love on them, then God will provide the rest, I suppose, right? I mean, that's how I try to think about it. But I know it's not very logical, and like you go back to it and you're like, oh, but I don't have that money, I don't have this. I need to buy a house, all that stuff. But yeah, I get that too, and that's like, that's just how it is.
It's like your passion leaving you to neglect your family and friends. Yeah, it's like, what about your passion for your family and friends?
Yeah, right. Yeah. There you go.
I guess that is something where I'm just like journeying through, right? Like figuring it out. So what you said actually helped a lot. But then it's just like realizing that I catch myself in moments where I have to be like, oh yeah, like these are the people I have around my life that I should really look after. Because I think a couple podcasts back, I think Jar, you mentioned about how like something that our mentor said about, the older you get, the more cold you get. Yeah. Unless you check yourself, right? Yeah. And be like, oh, I gotta stop. Because I realized like it was so much easier being nicer to everyone when we were studying or back then because we were all like starting off to grind for like what we want to do together. And then now like we're in a position where everyone around us is already started. So you get some that are obviously way ahead of others, some are slower, but you get people everywhere, right? Yeah. But then these are still the same people But then when people start like grinding and working, and then when some get more successful, you realize that like, oh man, they're very different now.
There's a gap.
Yeah, and it's a gap, right? And I'm trying to think to myself like, oh man, like do these people that I really cared for, like is it still worth for me caring for them? Because if I was ahead of them, I would always kind of help them out. But then if now because they're ahead and they like they're not doing what I thought they would because of like how close we are, it makes me more like stingy in a way. And then I find myself like reverting back to like, oh man, maybe chasing my passion isn't something I need to do right now. I just need to grind so I can catch up. So then I can keep supporting my mates and doing that because I found myself like really struggling to support the people around me because I was so worried about my like financial status or my own contentment and things like that. But yeah, I don't know whether I just went off on a complete tangent there. But I guess that was just what was on my mind in terms of the whole topic about passion and then the money thing and things like that as well. Yeah.
I think with that, like comparison can dull your purpose as well when you start to compare it with other people. But I think it's like you were saying, like, are you, what was the word? Like you would give financially and everything. But I think another way to look at it is I think it shows you how you can support people, just not financially. Like what you said now, like you have the time, you can love on them in different ways and you can like get to know their life more as well than if you were like in a 9-to-5 job. But then also if you were in a 9-to-5 job, like as a Christian, God's given you that money and you can give people in that way. So I think it's showing like how amazing it is that we all carry different ways to love people. You know, but yeah, comparison, man, that's hard. Especially when you see like last year, my friends, like my group of girls, they are very independent, very, I'm so proud of them. They're big achievers. But seeing their life, I was like, we grew up together. Like, what did I do wrong? You know? But I started to focus on them less and just focus on what am I doing? The little steps, how am I loving people? And it just, not that money came, but I think me identifying my purpose in my life came.
Yeah. So I guess like, do you have anything to add on that sense? Because I guess like to kind of round everything up, finishing up a little bit, it's like what we spoke about today. Like, what do you think your purpose in life is now, like for you?
I think obviously the main purpose is to love God, love people. But maybe specifically in my season now, I think I really want to speak into our generation, to young adults and women, and my purpose is to see them walk in their purpose as well. And I really, like, my focus now I think is mental health. Going through like depression, like traumatic things. I never really understood how to really deal with it. It just like, just go ahead and pray about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And if it's not solved, am I a bad Christian? Right? And that's like me and Nick were talking
Trixie
about
with the real questions, man.
We shove things under the rug, and I thought that was the best way to cope because as a Christian, I wasn't allowed to look like I was suffering. You know? So I care about that in young people. How are we looking after our mental health? How are we being like equipped to support our friends as well, because I think we're the biggest like pastors or whatever within our circle.
Right. Wow.
Wow,
yeah,
that is fire. George, what about you?
I'm gonna go after her. Oh man, mine's very simple. At the moment, it's just to grow in love. That's it. The people around me and the people that I, in my occupation and all that.
Oh, that's it.
I'm telling you, that's what it is. That's what it is.
I thought you were gonna.
I mean, if you make yours like, if you make yours really articulated, then I will articulate mine.
With that. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty hard to follow up Trixie's thing. But for me, I think at the moment I realized leaving my old, like from my past season, and like I mentioned in our previous podcast of being sick for like half a year this year, gave me a lot of time to really rethink and think about what's my purpose in life, like what is something that people will remember me for, and besides like what I did, but what about me that they'll actually remember. And I think now it's just honestly like just being as supportive as I can. Pretty much like what you said, like learning to be happy for my mates and not always think about how I can support them financially or just side things like that, and think about catching up to them, but just regardless of where I am, just learning to be happy for people and support them that way. Because I think like in the past, I've always been someone that was super opinionated, or like had strong ideas and opinions. But I think now it's just learning, like just relax, enjoy life, like in terms of where I'm at now, do what I do, but also care less about, not to say care less about people, but care less about, what's right and wrong, but just learning to just support the people around me, cool. Even if they may not do the same to me. And I guess from like, because we're all Christian, like a Christian side in my youth is like just helping the next generation the best they can. There's a lot of intense stuff happening with the kids these days, and the issues they go through, and it may be normal for them, but we all know growing up like these things aren't normal, and just teaching them the right thing, regardless of they're Christian or not, just helping them out and knowing that there is support out there for them these days. But
wow, nice. Okay, well, I'm not gonna say anything. I think I'm pretty happy with what I said, to be honest, but you know what, we'll use this time for you, Trixie, to plug what you're doing right now, like what's coming up, just something that you want to announce, maybe put it out there.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. Okay, I think like what I said, mental health, I think being a young adult, there's so many different areas of our life that we could really dive into. So I also have my own podcast. It's called Women of Worth.
That's it.
And we talk about things like mental health, about like healing from trauma, relationships. I think especially it's like biblically based, but we talk about things like how does a Christian guy pursue a girl in church nowadays, because sometimes we got some chickens out there, you know. So it's great to hear stories just from different places.
Don't be a chicken.
Yeah.
But yeah, just talk about everything under the sun, really. So I would love for you to hop on at the Women of Worth podcast, even to leave questions as well of things like you'd want us to address, and do the same for the boys as well.
Awesome. And is that on Spotify?
Yeah, it will be on Spotify.
Just Spotify or Spotify and Anchor?
I need to talk to my friend.
Right,
well, so we will link it regardless.
We
will link it.
We'll take this offline and
we'll figure it out.
We'll provide it to you guys, okay? Wow, you know, this was a pretty good, damn good chat, right? Yeah, I like what you said about like impact and legacy. Maybe we could talk more about that next time. But yeah, thank you, Trixie, for coming on the show. Yeah, really appreciate you being here, sharing your wisdom with us and like, you know, your experiences. Very cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks so much for having me.
No worries.
It was a pleasure. But yeah, maybe we'll be on the Women of Worth podcast next time.
About guys who are chicken.
We'll see you there, ladies. Guys, chickens. Find out later. Anyways, but yeah, it's been a pleasure. You know, YouTube, ring the bell, subscribe, like,
follow us on Instagram as well.
Follow on Instagram. We post. We try to post more. We will. We are. Tell your friends about us. Yes. Yeah. Stay fresh, everyone.
All right. See you guys.
Okay, bye.
Peace. How about him forget anything right now?